Ready, Jeannie? Jeannie. All right, so items to be discussed. Is Carrie Bressler here?
I'm going to get...
Oh, hi, Carrie. How are you? We're going to just move you to the top here so you don't have to stay all night if you don't want to.
Okay. But if you really want to stay all night, you're
You're more than welcome. So take a minute and get yourself set up there.
Is it appropriate at this time?
We can get into the work session. What's your name?
Michelle Sack, S-A-C-K.
And in reference to?
A crosswalk on Wickersham.
Could we as well get on the other, in reference to 135 Road, zoning variance?
And what's your name? I'm sorry.
Tia Jones.
To the work session, no problem.
anyone else like to be at the work session while we're here?
Carrie, you want to start things off?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm here once again to thank you for your support of the library. It's very important to us, and we appreciate it. We use the money that we get for very good purposes. So I'm sure you're aware of all the good things we do at the library. And I just wanted to share with you some information about the library. We are going to be attending very soon, within the next coming months. We're tentatively scheduling a groundbreaking ceremony, so of course we'll all be invited to that. We'll be doing the library, and I don't know if you've been inside the library, but we'll be doing the children's upstairs to the existing upper floor, and moving the adult collection to the new wing. We'll also have a new lobby in the library that welcomes you, and display. We'll have displays in that area that will be open for everybody to see community events and community information. And we'll have more quiet space in the library for reading. We'll be adding a self-checkout kiosk, which is kind of exciting. And the downstairs will become meeting, which is greatly needed right now. When we have a program, we pack people into our small children's story time room. And, just recently we had the Friends of the Serpentine Barons come and speak, and we had 27 people show up, which was wonderful. But we had standing room only. So, it would be nice to be able to have a program where we can invite more people and welcome them and not make them feel. Those are some exciting things we have going on right now. So we will be under construction for several months, for about 9 months, I imagine. And so, we hope that you'll come to a groundbreaking ceremony, and we think you'll come and see us once we're completed with the project.
When's the groundbreaking ceremony?
We have it tentatively scheduled for an October date, and as soon as that date is firm, I will certainly let you know. It should be within a couple of days.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me? Updates anybody wants from the library?
I know the library had been planning this addition for quite some time.
Yes.
Has it downsized since?
The size itself is the same. The building expansion didn't change. What changed was the materials. We had to do away with some of the premium items. We had to build a building that we could actually afford instead of one that we hope to afford one day. So the board is really committed to providing us extra space that the community needs. So they really reassessed the value of what was needed. And, we'll have a great functional building. It just may not have all of the, the repurposed, reclaimed wood or all of the architectural features that we want to post at they just were too crazy.
You have a lot of activity around the library all the time.
We do have
That's great.
We do. Yes, we're really happy. Last year, we welcomed close to 80,000 people walking there. So, yeah, it was really well.
What's the hours?
We're there Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 to 8. We're there Tuesday, 12 to 8, and Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 4. Last year we extended our hours. We used to have a late opening on Thursdays. We found that we had enough staff to extend the hours, so that was a good thing. And we even have people there when we're not open, using our Wi-Fi, sitting on our picnic benches or outdoors. So. And we also have quite a few things that are available as e-resources. You can check out e-books at any time. You can place holds on items in the library at any time. We have a new platform for getting magazines. So you can actually check out magazines on your devices, on your iPad, and read them like that. You don't even have to come into the library to use it nowadays.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Next monitoring
Monitoring reports. I received the monitoring reports for our properties. How do you want me to do this? I mean, do you want me to tell you the results of each one? Like read the...
The question first about, as a whole, how many properties do we have to do the reports on annually?
4.
All right, and what is the expense typically?
It's on 160 a property. We actually have the bill on there for tonight. $160 a property.
How much?
$160 a property.
How often is that?
Once a year.
Okay,
So do you want me to just read the results of each one?
sure.
Is that the easiest way to do it? Alan and Cynthia Pugh, the following best management practices have been implemented per scheduled and approved conservation plan. Have not been implemented. The pipeline, which is 1,200 feet in field 2, as outlet for water and sediment control basin. All practices were scheduled for implementation by June of 2009. Mr. Pugh has now installed the permanent stream bank fencing and stream crossing on his property. Mr. Pugh will also be working with Stroud Water Research Center to plant trees within the stream corridor of his property. With this construction of the fencing and crossing, the requirements of these practices set forth in his conservation plan have been satisfied. Mr. Pugh is also in the beginning stages installing the pipeline located in field 2 and has indicated that he would like to have the work completed by this fall. Do you want me to pass them down so you can look at them as I read them? So, and then the present owner for David G. and Maddie R. Blank. The following best management practices have not been implemented per schedule in approved conservation plan dated August 6, 2008. Stream crossing, 1 plan for field 5. All practices were scheduled for implementation by June of 2009. Since my 2013 visit, stream bank fencing and a livestock exclusion area have continued to be established on the farm. The conservation plan states that a stream crossing should be placed in field 5 for access to the pasture on the far side of the stream. As far as the landowner maintains the livestock exclusion and fencing, this requirement of the conservation plan should no longer be necessary. However, if in the future the landowner begins to allow the cows across the stream, the requirement for the stream crossing should be reinstated. The Esch property, who is now the present owner, is Jonas and Melinda Stolfus. Based on my visit of all of the best management practices scheduled in the approved conservation plan dated July 16, 2008 are being implemented. This farm is in full compliance with the conservation plan. However, there was stream bank fencing, a stream crossing, and a watering facility which were scheduled to be implemented in field 5. This field was previously used as a pasture. As I noted in 2013, the field is now fully used as cropland. Due to the fact the land use has changed from pasture to cropland, I believe the conservation plan should be updated to accurately reflect the changes made to the land. That would be a winning question as to whether we should do that or not. And then John and Lavinia Blank is our last one. The following best management practices have not been implemented per schedule and approved conservation plan dated March 1st, 2010. Roof runoff structure in Field 6 scheduled to be implemented in March of 2011. I spoke to Samuel F. Blank during my 2013 visit, and he indicated that a contractor would be performing the necessary work for the roof runoff structure that year. However, I did not see any proof that work had been done to establish the required roof runoff structure.
What do we do when we have a situation like that where it's not being done and it should have been done?
Are these extra copies that they?
You may have them. Yeah, I can print off one.
They're all.
I mean, there's only one
They all
that's
had
in basically
something.
full compliance.
Yeah.
Well, the Esh Farm has that one thing, but it's because of different crop from.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
So that we can fix that one. The other three are not in compliance. You can look
That's
into
one
that
thing.
one.
I mean, this is pretty typical. Every year it seems to be the same comments, and I always send them letters. And we, usually say they're working on
Well,
it.
maybe it's coming.
Maybe it needs to come from Winnie.
Yeah. I think it's been enough time, don't you?
It's like 4 and 5 years.
Does anybody have any questions on the monitoring reports? Any supervisors, any questions for Susie? Next, we want to talk about advertising for the open space tax. So I'd like to talk about us advertising for the open space tax. Bringing that tax down to a 0 for next year from 1/8 that it's at right now. So right now, everybody realizes we're at 1 1/8 right now in the township. We have the option to bring it down or to change it at the beginning of the year every year. So I'd like to consider the fact of changing it to a 0 or just 1% at this point and getting rid of the 1/8. So I'd like to just get everybody's opinion on that, especially the board's opinion, so we can discuss it a little bit.
Well, let's back up and tell everybody why it's at where it is now.
Okay. When we first took on open space, we took out a bond for $4 million? For $4 million to purchase open space lands, which raised the tax from 1% to 1.5%, and that 0.5% was for open space. So that money went towards that open space fund, was used to pay down that debt, used to purchase other lands in the open space. At this point, we've actually paid the bond off incomplete, so the bond is paid off in full. Last year, we anticipated the bond being paid off, so we brought the tax down to 1.18 or 1.125% to make sure that we can cover that tax being paid down. So at this point, that bond is paid down. If we
Scott, can I
decide,
interrupt you just 1 minute?
You may.
You keep saying the 1.1, the 1 is our earned income. The open
Right.
space is only the 0.125.
yes, thank you. So the open space is 0.125. We brought that down. In the beginning, it was 0.5%. We brought it down to 0.125. At this point, we'd like to discuss bringing it down to 0. Meaning we have some extra money in that account if we decide to use it for some open space. It's not going to get rid of open space at this point, but it will eliminate a little extra money that our taxpayers are paying right now. That we don't feel they need to be paying at this point. We do still have the option of purchasing open space. What are they?
Development rates.
Thank you. Of purchasing development rights from the open space. We're not getting rid of that option. We're talking about just lowering the tax, lowering the burden right now on the taxpayers when it's not necessarily needed. So that being said, that's what we'd like to talk about a little bit and discuss in our work session. So I'm in favor of talking about it and putting it on the agenda, talking about having starting on an ordinance to bring it down to 0 for next year. So we would just have our earned income tax at 1%, correct?
Correct.
So we would just have our earned income tax at 1%. With the option, again, every year, we can look into it if we need to bring it back up and, bring in more tax money for open space at that point.
Has anybody else comment?
I'd like to open the floor up to comments from everybody out there, if anybody has any comments or any questions on this. Yes.
How many
Please
acres?
state your name for us.
How many acres were purchased, the rights, over the course of the $4 million bond?
Susan, you know that, how much we purchased?
Close to 1,000, but I'll give you, I think I have it with me. Yeah, the total acreage was, with the county and ours, is 963.46 acres.
Okay. So just about 964 acres.
Yeah, these are easements. These aren't actual, the township doesn't actually own the
Correct.
properties.
We basically bought the rights so they can develop those properties.
And as opportunities arise throughout the year, we can bring this back in again. I don't know if it's 0, 125, or 125. 1 acre, 1%.
Are there any other questions out there? John, anything you'd like to add?
No, pretty much covered it.
All right. That's it. You ladies have anything like that? This side over here? All right. So, we'll we can add that to the agenda as we move on. We also had maybe you want to spearhead this one, a request from Elk Township?
Yeah, Elk Township, for those of you that don't know where exactly Elk is, if you were to travel down 472, pass out of the township in 472, the next township you get to before you go into Maryland is Elk. They are at the southeastern corner of the school district. They are bordered entirely within the school district by East Nottingham. They don't touch any other school district municipalities. On the west side, they do touch New London and Franklin Township, which are in Avon Grove School District, and Maryland to the south, and Rising Sun, Cecil County. They have a problem where they do not have their own road crew to maintain their for snow removal. In the last year, they contracted with a company who charged a very large amount of money to remove the snow. They have, compared to East Nottingham, they have a very small number of roads. I believe the number is 12 miles. We have, Bill?
14 miles.
14 miles?
Yeah,
Okay.
Township.
How many miles do we have?
We have been like 62 or 3.
We have 63 miles of roads. So compared to East Nottingham, it's very small, a small fraction of East Nottingham. They have requested that we think about helping them in their snow removal. They would compensate the township for our activities. We just need to figure out, A, whether they're still interested in doing that, and B, how much we would require to be compensated for the use of our manpower and equipment. Anybody have any comment?
Pretty overburdened to begin with. To add 12 more miles, I think, is a lot to ask of them, especially with that snowstorm. And the phone calls that Pat takes now, is that going to increase
Don't worry about it. We have to hire more people.
Yeah, I just don't see
And
it.
have more equipment.
Yeah, to ask our people to do that.
Yeah.
Bill, what do you think? A normal snow, we could probably help them out. If we had a blizzard, we'd be in trouble. We would have to probably call in some outside contractors with loaders or something, which we do that even here if we get in a bond with a loader. But the first question would be for Winnie, is that legal for us to do something like that?
Well, I don't know.
Well-
That's a question I just got served with tonight. You know, you can do intergovernmental cooperation agreements. And you do that for, say, police force.
So could you find out?
But that's kind of, yeah, I can find out. But
I-
I'm not sure, obviously, we can't make a profit, and
Right.
there are
It's-
costs
we have
over
to
and
do it at
above just
cost.
what it costs that day, so.
I
Some
did talk
minutes.
to Estes Walters earlier, and he said it might be too late in the year because it would take a little time to get some numbers because they're going to open their bids up their next meeting, which is the first Monday in October. And he called me back about 6:15 on my way up here, and he talked to another supervisor. They said the only way he could see us even being feasible at all would be for us to pick a bid packet up and bid on it. So this would be legal stuff that would have to be looked at. I doubt if there would be enough time, which they understand that, but you guys would have to figure that part out.
Okay.
No, we could look into it.
Joe?
Yeah, Jeff?
I drive those roads going down to Elkton, Maryland to work just about every day. And I tell you, their roads are not in very good shape. It would be very hard on our equipment.
They're bad.
The roads are narrow. They don't have the kind of widths that we have, the nice lines so you can see when you're out there in the blizzard. I just, if they were up to our standards, I might say, okay, but they're in real bad shape down there. That's going to be tough on our equipment.
I guess I would be against it if it was an emergency and they needed a road plowed to get a fire truck through or something, but to risk our liability and wear and tear on our
not worth it.
equipment, it's not. They're their own township, they have their own tax base.
Okay. Anyone else? All right.
Michelle Sapp?
Yes. Thank you. Am I talking like this? Okay.
Wherever you
It's not
It's
on.
not on.
That's okay. I
You
live
can
at
talk into it.
160 Wickersham in East Nottingham Township, and I want to bring to your attention and discussion putting a crosswalk across Wickersham from the path of the school property, just right across to the other side of the road. If you're not familiar with that area, the school, I can't remember exactly when, I think it's 2 years old, they put a path in from behind Nottingham Elementary, and it goes down their property line behind part of the Wiltshire development, and it comes out onto Wickersham Road. There is no sidewalk to the left of the path when you leave it. There is sidewalk to the right, but a majority of the children cross Wickersham to either go into the other part of the development or to go up or down that road. There is a hill crest on one side and a hill crest on the other side. There's also overgrown bushes on the school property line that really makes it not clear that there is A, a path there, or B, that you're going to see kids on bikes, scooters, or on their feet crossing Wickersham. I'm very concerned. My rough estimate counting kids that cross, it's at least 40 kids in the afternoon. There's a higher number of children that cross in the late afternoon than in the morning. But a lot of people and children use that crosswalk, and they're just really, for safety purposes, needs to be a crosswalk put on that road. I did bring it to the attention of Ms. Sheese. I came in earlier in the summertime, I think maybe June-ish, and we discussed the idea of it. She encouraged me to go and speak to the school board because we, in our discussion, thought that it could be the obligation of perhaps the school board, or the school district, excuse me, to put it in there because they put the path in. I did go to the board meeting. I brought up the issue with them. They seemed receptive to the fact that there does need to be, concern for the children that are crossing that road. However, a follow-up phone call from Ms. Atwood indicated that the township is concerned that they would have a liability of putting a crosswalk down. They told the district the district told me that they cannot put a crosswalk down because the road belongs to East Nottingham Township. The township in turn told, from what I gather, told Ms. Atwood that they are concerned about a liability to put a crosswalk across that road. I do not understand how it can be a liability. You're going to have just as much, if not more, liability if someone gets killed on that road and there is no crosswalk.
She did. This never got brought up to my attention.
No, and I don't know who Miss Atwood spoke to, but
I believe his name's Chip, but I don't know who that person is.
oh, Chip Lewis.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
school district.
School district.
He's
Yeah.
the school district assistant.
Okay.
He's not
It has nothing to do with the township.
No, I didn't imply that he did.
Okay.
When I was in Ms. Sheets' office, I don't remember who you spoke to, I thought it was Chip, to talk about, like, how can we get this situation brought to the attention of the appropriate people? What I'm finding now is that East Nottingham thinks that the district should take care of it because it is their path that spills out onto the road. The district tells me that they're not allowed to do anything to that road because the road belongs to the township.
The district has never even been in touch with the township about it.
Well, that's
So-
contrary to the information that I
This
received.
has been an
whatever
ongoing
they're
thing.
telling you, I haven't never heard
It's
about
been
it.
going on for many years before you guys were even here, and it's,
The crosswalk issue specifically?
well,
Because the path has only been there for a couple of years.
Just putting lines on the road is a little simplistic, because if there's a sidewalk involved on one side or the other, then once there is a crosswalk, then both sidewalks, or if there's only on one side, has to be redesigned to be ADA compliant.
I understand that. Then I understand that the cost could be extreme with that. Do we not fall under any kind of exclusion because of the level of traffic or the level of commuters on that road, because it's such a small road in comparison to other, 4-lane, whatever highways?
It's Wiltshire owns.
I believe
The
it's
homeowners
Wiltshire.
association owns the
Yes.
sidewalk.
And the district says on their side, they do not have a sidewalk that connects the Wiltshire sidewalk and/or the path to the end of their property by the fields. They explained to me that they believe they cannot put a sidewalk in there because it's wetlands.
Well,
Scott.
Bill,
How about
what, do you know whether we have the authority to put a crosswalk in?
I would be afraid to comment on that because I know we had this discussion, last year?
3 years ago, too.
And it was pretty much said that we couldn't do that for the liability issue with the kids crossing the street.
What is the liability?
No crossing guard.
The township would then say this is a safe place to cross.
Which is exactly the point of a crosswalk, to identify a safe place to cross the road. There
What
is
you're
no
saying-
safe place on that road.
But that's what you're saying.
Right.
So then we're designated, okay, this is fine.
Right.
People rely on that, and it's not.
And if my kid gets killed on the road right now, the first place I'm coming is you, whose liability is not to make it safe?
I don't think that's helpful.
No, I do, because I think the liability issue is just an excuse not to pursue the reason why we need to have a crosswalk. We're talking about the safety of a lot of children that cross that road. And I think maybe in error before, there should have been more conversation before that path was allowed to be put there. But now that we have it there, we have to rectify the situation of an unsafe place to cross.
Certainly, that's certainly an issue. I think it's something I can look into, and maybe Bill can put up some signs. What about a crossing guard? Then the school district has to do that, but can't we, perhaps Bill could look into the signage that might be available, and even bumps, speed humps?
Got school kids walking on the road.
Yeah, I think Ron Reagan had looked into that before too, and there was an issue with just putting signs up even, like, other than like watch children or something.
Yeah,
Which
that's
we
what
do
I'm
have
saying.
those up. I assume they're still there.
There's bus stop signs, but
Okay,
there's
watch
nothing to
children
identify
watching
the fact that children will be crossing that road if you're not careful.
If I remember correctly, this was quite some time ago, before the path was in. There was a question about school zone
Yes,
lights.
yes.
And PennDOT said that the lights could not be put in because there wasn't enough activity going to the school.
I have re-raised that issue with the school board because now that they've redesigned the way drop-off and pickup is at Elk Ridge, I would be hard-pressed to find there's not enough activity to put some kind of notification that you've got school comings and goings, especially at that
Yeah, because it's a state road.
It's very, very difficult to get them to put up school signs. It's really hard. I've done it, I've tried to do it, and it's difficult. I mean, it's certainly something to,
And there is no designation on that road to say that you are now passing a school zone, other than to see the school and the kids getting out of the park.
yes, it's very difficult to get them to do that. I mean, you can try, and the school has probably tried, but that's a PennDOT call.
You should call those, see what he says about that.
And do you want me to Bill maybe to look into this question? I'm putting the bushes down.
The bushes, I have raised that issue with the school district. I'm waiting for a facilities management meeting to be scheduled so that I can discuss with them where those bushes are. I believe they are on school property. And it's not so much that the bushes need to be chopped back, they need to be, the height of them is obstructing the view of the path.
Now, is this coming out of one of the streets, or?
If you travel from Elk Ridge down Wickersham, on the right-hand side, just as you pass the end of the sidewalk, there's a lot of shrubbery. It's back, but it grows in such a way that it grows up and over, and it totally obstructs the view of the, that's there on the right-hand side.
So it's not out over the roadway itself?
No, it is not on the roadway, but it's easily to see visually. If they're cut back, it'll at least open up the view of the path.
I mean, I'm okay with you looking into it. I will look into it. Briefly, don't spend a million hours on it, but take a look into it and see if there's any solution.
You authorized just for $999,000.
I just think we have a crosswalk without having to.
Yeah, I mean, if you can look into it and just find out what's going on. If there's anything that the township can do.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, I think we should go into the school board and talk to the school about it. That's my first solution. All right, and then we have Tia Jones, 135 Barnsley.
Hi. Yes, we purchased the property at 135 Barnsley and wanted to see about getting a variance to the current zoning to allow for residential there. I guess we have to go through a formal process.
It's reverted back since it was basically abandoned, so it's reverted back to commercial. It's a house. It's that house that used to be really cute with picket fence and.
But it is again.
But it was. Yeah.
So what do they need to do?
So they would have to apply for a variance to be able to allow that residential use again.
Just we had all the stuff outside.
Yeah, that's where the dog used to lay out.
Can you point them into the direction that they need to do?
Right, I just always tell them to come to the board to take your temperature to see if you would do anything against that, if you would oppose that before they spend the money.
Temperature is high. He's got to go home. Temperature's so high.
I don't see any opposition for me. I don't know about you. I can't speak for anybody else.
It's a house, basically. It's just it's zoned C2.
So why don't you point them in the direction they need
I
to go in?
have.
I have no problem.
Thank you.
And it looks very nice. It looks really nice.
I think it's unusual to open commercial to residential, that's fine.
Actually, not so much as you need that.
All right.
Ask anybody else wants to get it.
Is there anybody else who'd like to be added to the work session at this moment? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you state your name for us, please?
My name's Eric Coates. I live on 227 Elk Creek Road in East Nottingham. And I see they already have something on the agenda. What I want to talk about is this Fulton Road. I just want to recall some things that happened. I don't have any personal interest in it anymore. We sold the property to Mr. Sykes, and so it's not there anymore. But I have to. I want to talk about. There was a time when it was either abandoned or going to be abandoned. When Mr. Shelton was on the board, he took the initiative. Well, what happened was first, my brother was running the garage there, Coates Auto Parts, and there was a lot of break-ins in the back road. So the state police told him to block them off, and he did it. After that, Mr. Shelton contacted me, and we had a meeting. I think Mrs. Sebastian was there, and Bill Weaver might have been there, I'm not sure. But we had a meeting with Mr. Shelton where it was discussed that the township was interested in purchasing some land at the intersection of Oxford Road and Hickory Hill Road, right up there at the point. and we would convey the ground to them for $1 for no consideration. And they would officially abandon the Fulton Road between Oxford Road and Hickory Hill Road. We talked, Mrs. Sebastian had a plot plan there, and we agreed on where it was supposed to go, and it was going to happen. We talked about an agreement, we decided, our word was good enough, we would just do it. Nothing happened after that, except I know the township went out there and mowed the part that the part of the ground that they were going to get. They mowed it and cleaned it up, and that was nice. And I want to get into the financial thing about improving, because now I hear you're going to open I don't know whether it's open or closed, Fulton Road, that stretch of 200-foot stretch there. But leaving aside the integrity and credibility of our gentleman's agreement, I wrote to Mr. Sebastian a couple of times and never got an answer. Nobody ever told me. I never got an answer as to whether they changed their mind or whatever. But I want to point out to you that since 1951, I would say, that road, the township roadmaster reports might prove me wrong, but I would say the township has probably been on that road to fix it, grade it, do whatever, half a dozen times, maybe 12, maybe double that. But that's a long time in 60 years. I mean, that's a very few times in 60 years. If you're going to open the road, you're going to spend a lot of money on engineering to find the rights of way, where it's going to go. It looks like you're going to have to take down some trees and maybe move a lot of earth. You're going to have a terrible drainage situation there. It's going to cost a lot of money, besides the engineering expense. You've got an accident getting ready to happen at the intersection of that strip and on Oxford Road. And it's just a blind spot. You're going to have to do a lot of road widening and engineering there, and it's almost as bad on the Hickory Hill side. In addition, now if you spend all that money and you do open it again, in addition, you're going to open a road that in the same, since 1951, now I was around before that, but that's probably back as far as I can remember. Since 1951, I would say the public travel on that road might be 3 or 4 times a year. Maybe more, but I doubt it. Nobody used that road. Nobody used it for anything. It was just nobody wanted to go from Oxford Road to Hickory Hill Road and use that road because, number one, it was unsafe and it was not properly maintained. So it was never used. It wasn't even necessary. It's not a necessary road. If you open it and fix it up and everything, that's right. You're going to spend a lot of money to do it. But I think you got to look at everything you're going to do there and what's going to happen. And keep in mind, it was the subdivision approved, the Dean Cheek and Charles Shop subdivision in 1976 was approved by the Township Planning Commission. And I thought the subdivisions had to show all public roads. It's not shown on there. It's just shown as a property line. So I just ask you to, before you go spending a lot of money on a lot of effort, just think about what good it's going to do to the public and how much money it's going to cost the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody up here? The work session?
I'd like to make a comment about the Fulton Road. John Seitz. I'm the purchaser of the Coates property, and it was my understanding that for a good number of years the township didn't have an interest in that property and was looking to release the right-of-way, if there is one, in exchange for land at the point, as Eric said. I guess I'd like to understand and ask why the change in direction, why the township's no longer interested in that swap, and what value, as Eric says, that Fulton Road will have to the general township. It's a very narrow road. There is going to be a lot of work. There's a pipe that goes through it with rust holes in it. I think if a vehicle went over it right now, the vehicle would fall into the pipe. And I'm not sure there's enough road surface to build it up unless you do a lot of engineering and drainage work. So I guess I'd like to understand what's the motivation of taking that road and using it? What value will it have?
I think it's a public road, so the motivation of any particular board isn't necessarily relevant. I think the more significant thing is that you have barricaded it, and that's, it's a public
The other
road.
issue is the township gets money for that road.
I'm not
So
sure
that
the township's
is-
been on.
I know that the township gets money for that
Well,
road. You know that too, because you're looking into it. so-
Sure. No, I know the township's been getting money for it.
Okay, so don't play that. You know that we do.
No,
So
but
we're
I'm
gonna
not
make that
sure.
road into a township road is what it's supposed to be. It's an open road, it's a township road.
Are you aware that there was a vacation that was filed in Chester County Court many, many years ago for that
Are you
road?
aware, I think you are aware, I sent it to one of your attorneys, that there's a resolution in 1992 specifically identifying that road by a measurement and including it on the road rolls, and it continues to be there.
I understand it continues to be there, but in fact, the road was vacated by the township previously.
Well, it doesn't matter if it was then placed on the township roads by resolution in 1992.
I see.
You can't vacate it first and then, you have to vacate it after. It hasn't been vacated since 1992.
Was there any public notice when the township took the road back after being vacated?
It's a resolution, there's no public notice required for resolutions for roads.
So you're saying the township can just independently create a resolution and take a road back that was vacated?
No, sir, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to argue law with you, I'm just asking you to please take down the barrier.
If it were a road, I would.
Yes, okay, we understand your position.
Scott, can I just say something, because I disagree with Eric. When that road was closed, I got several phone calls from residents who were very upset.
It was blocked.
When it was blocked, and not when it was closed, but when it was blocked, because they use that road. I use that road.
I use that road. Okay. Any other comments? Yes, sir. What's your name?
Ray Johnson. This is not in relation to the road, but it's in relation to the property. A few weeks ago, I came into the township with asking for 3 permits. I had one question with 2 parts. The first permit that I asked for was an emergency building repair permit. In most incorporated areas, I understand that is given, where you can start construction, and it is given in order to protect property and safety for that. I gave the permit to the person in the office, and they immediately handed it back to me and refused. I want to know why. That's my question. The second question I have is that I came in with 2 sign permits. We followed the instructions for all permits for what was written in your code. The sign permit wanted us to give us the width and the height and where the sign was located and a drawing of the sign. And based on the area of the sign was the amount that we needed to pay for the permit. I handed this again to the person in the office, and she declined it. I want to know why.
I sent a letter to Mr. Seitz explaining that a week or so ago. You have a full explanation, and so does your lawyer.
I have not seen that letter.
Well, Mr. Seitz is sitting right next to you. You can ask him to show it to you.
Could you please explain why you handed it back to Ray Johnson?
I don't think it needs to be explained
I don't think it
publicly.
needs to be explained publicly.
Then you're not willing to give me an explanation?
I gave you one, sir. I gave Mr. Seitz one. If the property is his, he's the one who deserves the explanation, and he has received it in writing already.
I don't think,
said
I'm
it's
just
not
puzzled.
registered. I know
I'm not
it's-
arguing with you, I am just bewildered, okay?
Okay. So we did send you a registered letter, which I'm sure you received, that has the,
I did not see it.
not to you, to Mr. Sykes. So.
I did receive the letter, and it implied that Ray never turned in the building permit, which is just absolutely not true. He put it into Ms. Sheese's hands, she looked at it, and she refused to accept it.
Okay, and I'm sure there was a reason on that letter that you received why she did not accept it.
Not that I can understand.
Okay. So maybe your attorney can explain that to you.
He's as bewildered as Mr. Johnson is. If you could explain the policies of the township, we'd very much appreciate it.
I'm not sure. So we're going to move on from there. Is there anybody else? Yes, sir.
My name is Philip Dell, and I'm actually not going to talk about that property at all.
I'm sorry, it was Phil?
Phil Dell. My family lives over on Elk Creek Road in East Nottingham Township, and this is actually going to be completely off of the property. My question is more or less, would be, for the township, would they have any interest in entertaining a police department if it was for the right price? As I've spoken to multiple friends, the state police, I know that there's been numerous incidents within the township, and I didn't know whether that they'd have any interest in entertaining one.
Yeah, at this point, I think that's been discussed a couple of times at our meetings. I think the cost is just something that we're not willing to bear right now, the taxpayers.
Understood. Very good.
So,
Thank you.
okay. All right, at that point, is there anybody else? Can we conclude this work session? Bill?
I didn't have a chance there. We were on Barron Road with Elk Township at a meeting 2 or 3 months ago. We decided to go in with them on possibly putting a weight limit on Barron Road for trucks. And we put a number on that. They were looking at about $6,000. And they came back to me here today, and the road would have to have some engineering and some core samples done to it, which would be a cost of somewhere between $11,000 and $12,000 for the total job. And we had put a ceiling of $3,000. Would the township be willing to go one half of that, or are we firm on the 3?
We discussed, remind me again, we discussed this at
that meeting a couple months ago, maybe 3 months, about putting a weight limit. There's a lot of tractor trailers traveling Barron Road.
Barron Road is crumbling.
Yeah, and our end is a little bit wider than Elk Township. Theirs is like 16 foot wide. But,
you feel it's something that we definitely need to do?
It would be good to get the tractor trailers and big trucks off of it.
What about Elk? Are they going to help?
Well, they're the ones that brought it up. We were going to split the cost with them, but the cost has went from 6 to between 11 and 12 because there has to be some core samples done on the road.
Is that the engineering study determined that?
Yes, yeah, the engineer is studying and some core drilling done. That's just would be a total between 11 to 12 max. And we had put a limit of $3,000 as our part. Would the township be willing to go?
Yeah, I think we should.
I think
we should add it to our agenda tonight. We'll discuss it in the meeting.
If you want to add it to one. That's all.
Has there been any expenditure to date on that?
If it hasn't, he hasn't given me an amount. If it was very little. I guess they were just giving me information. I was told what was going to have to be done and stuff. So.
Okay.
When does it have to be done?
Well, whenever they could get it done, the sooner the better, I would imagine, if I could get it done, but I don't know how.
So it's really breaking up?
Yeah, we did a bunch of base repair out there last year. We had to do some repairs on the same repairs this year. And I mean, it's a wet road to start with. There's a lot of springs. And I mean, we put in, 8-9 inches of blacktop base, which is very heavy, and some of that even crumbled up. So it's just too narrow a road for big trucks to be traveled on.
So it's a lot of trucks come through there, Bill?
It's on the GPS and on the maps to come from Elkton to Oxford. Instead of going from 272 to Calvert, they come straight from Elkton right up Blue Ball Road and right up Barron Road.
They're basically cutting the corner off.
Yeah.
What's the weight limit you're going to put on?
It would be probably, no trucks over, probably 5 ton or something, except local delivery. 5 or 6 tons. I know exactly what they would put on, it's whatever they come up with.
And we decided at the time we were for that, but what was the agreement?
Well, we would spend up to, they figured the initial cost is going to be between $5,000 and $6,000.
And we would be...
And we would pay for half of it, up to $3,000. And now it's going to have to be some engineering fees that could be as high as between 11 and 12.
Okay.
That's the number they were given to do it all.
Then you'll put signs up saying?
Oh, yeah, we'd have to put signage up, yeah.
Who's gonna patrol it? I mean, they're still gonna come through, aren't they?
State police.
Well, you can't enforce it. If you have the signs up, it can be enforced by the state police or whoever, but as long as there's signs up, they're going to keep going.
They do it too. Is there anybody else you'd like to add to the work session? At this point, we're going to end the work session. We're going to take a 2-minute recess here before we start our meeting. Let everybody stretch.
She didn't answer the second question.
Should we not
Sliding board. Sliding board?
They're covered in the actual.
It used to be they weren't a ticket. Certain portions of it.
Well, our road is
And now since, I don't remember if it was the legislature or if it was
we approved
policy, where now it's all the money goes to the state police.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we had them, if those are wrong, you realize, there's weight limit. You know, one overloaded truck is $20,000 municipality doesn't have money to do it, much less. Or the scale.
Right. You need the building, stop being so cheap.
It's all real estate.
Bill, how's everything going? All right?
All right with me, how about you?
Working through this.
You have a hand up there.
It's not even past you, man.
They sit there for weeks. I remember they dragged you all the way around. If they thought you had, even if you weren't, but if they thought they dragged you out, you would have been 30 miles away.
No, the only government.
Happy to come in sometime.
Right now, it's not so bad. Whether or not I can really use that song.
Yes, I know. To get the kids.
I mean, right now, it's, you know,
from traffic through the wetlands, because there's wetlands during certain times of the year. But I would just like
my wife kind of wouldn't put on or take me down to General. You know, they gave me some vegans that was finishing already. No pain at that point. But now the kidney, like, they can't really work it out. Well, you did a good job. I'm just leaving, we'll get it up and ladder eventually. We're not going to there's some people. I don't want to help her away, unfortunately. So they want to add a contract now. The contract's there to make it lighter or something, but if you tell us to put more. Where's Art? Where's Art? What was that, Neil? What's that, though? How you doing, Susie? You look great. You doing all right? Oh, congratulations. Good all right, you're right.
Now we go into the regular meeting and any public questions I have for them.
We gotta wait for John. Oh, there he is. John, I didn't even see you over there. I didn't even see you. Bill, are we twins? She thought I was... No, Carrie. All right, at this point, I'd like to start the regular meeting. I'm going to call the regular meeting of East Nottingham, September 9th, to session. If you'd all please join me and rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This minute, I'd like to open up to public comment. Or actually, you know what, before we do public comment, we have a few things that I think we're going to add to the agenda. So, John, do you want to take that and deal with it?
Yes, under supervisors, number 5, Carrie Bressler's a lady who talked to us about, talked to us about the library. She's down in number 5. She's left. So we will endeavor to eliminate number 5 under supervisors. Also adding number 10, advertising open space tax. And 11, Barron Road, weight limit, cost overrun. Any board member have anything else with that? No? All right, any comment on the agenda as it currently sits without being amended? Comment on the proposed amended agenda? I'll make the motion we amend the agenda to eliminate number 5, add number 10, advertising open space tax, and number 11, Barron Road weight cost overrun.
Second. Motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amended agenda as stated. Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At this point, I'd like to open to public comment. Does anybody have anything they'd like to state or say before we start our meeting here?
Will there be an opportunity in the recognition for visitors to discuss something at the end of the meeting?
There will.
Okay.
Okay.
3 minute.
Okay.
3 minute maximum.
All right, at that point, we're going to move on. We did have no executive sessions last month. We did have a fact-finding meeting on 9/9 of 14, which was today. Minus Jane. The Board of Supervisors was present, minus Jane Ladley, with Winifred Sebastian. So that was today. That was a fact-finding meeting. There are minutes for review on the table from last month. If anybody would like a copy, they're up here for anybody. Please help yourselves. I'm going to turn it over to Susie for a treasurer's report, please.
Fund balances as of August 31st, 2014, general fund regular account, $933,000, $132.39. General fund savings account, $1,047,814.48. Total general fund, $1,980,946.87. Open space fund, $178,748.53. State fund, $63,122.08. We continue to hold our 3 certificates of deposit at $100,000 each, for a total cash assets of East Nottingham Township, $2,522,817.48. Our income summary for August 2014, which includes total taxes and certifications, total fines, subdivision land application fee, permit review fees, inspection fees, cable TV, franchise fee, engineering fees and inspection, legal review fees, interest earned on general fund, donations from private sectors, which is the impact fee for Century Oak, and miscellaneous, for a total income of $189,865.50. Our general fund balance as of July 31st, 2014 was $820,132.52. Our bills were presented for payment on August 12th, 2014, $38,435.24. Our weekly payroll for August totaled $21,567.07. Our total supplemental checks was $16,863.32, for a total amount expended of $76,865.63, plus our deposits of $189,865.50, leaves us our general fund balance as of August 31st, 2014 of $933,132.39.
Any questions for our treasurer? Go ahead, Bill.
Suzie, how much has been spent for Wyndham Creek with taxpayer money?
$49,805.60.
And I see you have a breakdown for Wyndham Creek, URS, you listed it under Wyndham Creek. Does that also include Mango Gold, Catcher, Fox LLP? Is that?
It did not include that.
Okay. Is that bill in reference to Wyndham Creek?
I'll let you know, just one second.
What bill are you questioning about?
The Mango.
The Mango Gold Catcher Fox LLP, the Act 537 plan.
What number is that?
14535 for 1332.
Yes, I will add that to that bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you.
That bill?
And update, has any of that money been reimbursed
No.
from the builder developer?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Susie, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for our solicitor? I'm sorry, for our treasurer. My apologies, Wayne. And Susie.
Yeah, no, thank you.
There you go. All right, seeing none and hearing none, we're going to move on to subdivisions letters of extension. Got that right here. So we have a couple here. The first one, these are all date specific for January 15, 2015. If it's okay with everybody, I'd like to read them all in one shot before we vote on them. Everybody okay with that?
There's one that's,
Yeah. That's the 6th. Which one is that?
the last
Don't worry about
one.
your end.
Yeah, I'm going to go through the 5 up here, and we'll do that. Okay. So we have the first one here, Concord Land Planners and Surveyors, East Nottingham Township, Board of Supervisors, Bree Frank and Angela Loeb. Did I say that right this time? Bob. Let's get that one. Dear Supervisors, on behalf of my clients, Frank and Angela Lobb, I hereby grant an extension on the review period on the above reference plan through January 15th, 2015. Sincerely, Edgar H. Jeffries. Next one, Concord Land Planners and Surveyors to East Nottingham Township, dated September 5th, re David Mulemat, subdivision plan. Dear Supervisors, on behalf of my client, David Mulemat, I hereby grant an extension on the review period on the above reference plan through January 15th, 2015. Sincerely, Edgar H. Jeffries. Next one, Concord Land Planners, East Nottingham Township Board of Supervisors, re Timothy Bishop, dated September 5th for his subdivision plan. Dear Supervisors, on behalf of my client, Timothy Bishop, I hereby grant an extension on the review period on the above reference plan through January 15th, 2015. Sincerely, Edgar H. Jeffries. Next one, Concord Land Planners and Surveyors, East Nottingham Township, dated September 5th, re Meadowview Estate subdivision plan. Dear Supervisors, on behalf of my client, Steve Frost, I hereby grant an extension on the review period on the above reference plan through January 15th, 2015. Sincerely, Edgar H. Jeffries. Next one is from Crossin Remato Incorporated. Dated September 8th, Board of Supervisors, Hers Business Park. Dear Supervisors, on behalf of Hers Foods Incorporated, the owner and applicant of the above referenced subdivision, I would like to offer an extension for the review of their subdivision plan until January 15th, 2015. Your favorable consideration of this offer of extension would be appreciated. Sincerely, Kenneth G. Cross. So those are the five there. I'll make a motion that we accept the letters of extension.
I'll second.
From Frank H. III and Angela Thompson Lobb, David T. Mulemat, Bishop Timothy, Meadowview Estates, and Hers Food Incorporated. Motion been properly moved and seconded. Anybody have any comments on these? Seeing none and hearing none? All in favor? Aye. Now we have one subdivision or letter of extension, date specific for January 15th for Liz Miller, preliminary subdivision plan. This is from E. Miller Properties LLC, dated September 5th, to East Nottingham Township Board of Supervisors. 3, Elizabeth S. Miller subdivision plan, East Nottingham Township, Chester County, PA. Dear Supervisors, we are granting an extension to the current review period for the residential subdivision plan known as the Elizabeth S. Miller subdivision to January 15th, 2016. The current review period expires September 15th, 2014. Please contact me if you have any questions or concerns. Sincerely, William T. Friedel. I'll make a motion that we accept the Elizabeth Miller subdivision plan for January 15th of 2016.
Hold on. We're not accepting the subdivision plan.
Accepting the letter of extension.
Extension.
I'm sorry. I'm old there too. I apologize. Strike that, Pat. We'll move on with this. I'll make a motion that we accept the Liz Miller preliminary subdivision plan.
Letter of extension.
Letter of extension. For January 15th, date specific, January 15th, 2016.
Second.
Are there any comments on this?
Is that the Keystone development?
I'm not
Yes.
sure, is it?
Well, that's one of the plans for that property.
For Langston?
That Langston property, it's a plan that was submitted in 2003, and they haven't done anything with it, but they won't withdraw it, so.
So what we do?
We keep accepting the extension.
That's all we can do.
These are good as bigger chunks now.
Any other comments on this? Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for catching that. Okay, moving on. Supervisors, under number 1 on supervisors, we have the Stormwater Management Summit, September 25th, 2014. PJ, I'd imagine you put this on there for a reason?
Yes, we've had our stormwater management ordinance in place for 9 months now. And the county the Chester County Water Resource Authority is having a meeting to talk with the municipalities to see what kind of problems that they have had. And I'm definitely going. I think that our engineer should also go to represent the township and talk about the problems, because there have been a lot of them. Art said that he wanted to go.
Right.
Of course, it doesn't cost anything for Art and me to go, but I was hoping that the board would include Mark going also on behalf of the township.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think Mark could articulate the problems better than both of us together.
So how long is it?
I think it was
Couple hours.
2.5, 3 hours.
Is he available?
Yes. Yes.
So you check it?
I checked with him.
Great. Does anybody have any comments on the Stormwater Summit? Anybody on the board? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve to send the township engineer, Mark Daimler, and our zoning officer, PJ Shees, and any board member that would like to go.
Second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Monitoring reports, we actually went over this, correct?
We did, but we have to
Approve them?
ask,
We have to get
approve to when to put in our letters.
Does anybody have any questions on the monitoring reports that Susie went over before in our work session? Nobody? Okay. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Winnie to enforce the monitoring, to enforce the, Winnie, help me out with this,
To enforce compliance with the conservation plans.
So I make a motion that we approve Winnie to enforce the compliance with the conservation plans stated in the monitoring reports.
I'll second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next fun stuff. We got to set our budget meeting for October and approve advertising.
Pat, did Jane give you any dates she's available?
No, not at all.
All right, I guess we'll do that blind.
How did we advertise it last year, Pat?
I mean, Pat will just advertise the same, we just have to
We
pick.
just
the
advertise
dates.
the same, just
Yeah.
change the dates, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What day is going to work for everybody?
Our meeting's on the 14th of October. Our regular meeting,
Right.
just so.
And of course, Halloween is the 31st,
Yeah, we always do that.
It's important.
I mean, usually we do it the week after.
It's all about the candy.
I would say.
Didn't we-
Say week.
The week after
So that
our
would be
regular
the
meeting
21st.
or the, I mean, it doesn't have to be a Tuesday night, that's up to you all, but.
Well, Tuesdays work best for me.
Okay,
But
that's fine.
I don't know
I'm
if
fine
it works
with
for
Tuesday.
everybody else. I don't know everybody else is on.
We're talking about 7th and 21st.
The 21st.
The 21st or the 28th?
The 28th is too close.
I'm good
to
with the
get
21st.
Okay. 21st?
Yeah. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Pat, you good?
Does the secretary and the zoning officer have to be there?
No, I just want to make sure you're okay with it.
Okay, no, I'm just checking.
What time do we have?
Do you want to start it earlier or
Okay, why don't we
7?
do something early?
6 o'clock?
6?
Well, yeah, we got to give Jane time too, because she, oh no, Jane's,
She's retired.
That's right.
Okay.
Do you want to start early or is 6 o'clock good?
Her schedule consists of when to pick up the grandkids.
I'm thinking, you want to start at 5 or?
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, all right. Sure.
5
Why not?
o'clock?
At 5?
It shouldn't take any longer than an hour.
No, and I would just, encourage you, since every month we have the, our budget versus actual in the back, that'll make our budget meeting go much quicker if you all review that before the budget meeting.
Of course, anything.
Like you'll get one, obviously the October one you'll have in front of you. And if you could just review that before the budget meeting, it'll make it go up quicker, I think.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you just come in at 5 o'clock on the 14th and do it all one shot?
No,
Oh, my goodness. No. that's
Sorry, I was just saying, that way
Well, we
you're there one
usually have
night
a fact when he says
That's crazy.
at 6, and you figure it's gonna take about an hour.
no take more.
6:30.
Yeah, I think
All right, it was just a thought, I thought.
It was a good
Save
thought,
you-
but-
That's a long time.
Pat, you're fired.
Too long.
Thank you.
You said it was coming. There you go.
I did, we're good. yeah.
Okay, so we are, we're looking at 5 o'clock on October 21st for our budget meeting. Does anybody have any comments here on the budget meeting?
Is it open to the public?
It is open.
That's why it's advertised.
5 o'clock, a little too early for people commuting home from work.
5 o'clock sounds good.
I think 5 sounds perfect.
We could have 8 o'clock in the morning.
Are you going to be working late that night?
Possibly.
Okay.
So we don't.
Anybody else have any comments on our budget meeting for October 21st at 5 o'clock? All right, I would like to make a motion that we approve advertising to set our budget meeting for October 21st.
2015 meeting.
I'm sorry, I'd like to make a motion that we approve advertising for our 2015 budget meeting on October 21st, 2014 at 5 p.m.
I'll second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have the E&T Agricultural Securities additions, parcel number 69-4-10.
You should have letters in there.
I do. Stephen F. and Sylvia E. Stolzfus, and parcel number 69-4-10.02.
Jahan.
Thank you. Johan and Susan C.
Shikoslami.
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 She called it salami.
Thank you.
It's just like it's
She
spelled.
calls it
It's
salami.
Exactly,
right.
it sounds exactly as it's spelled.
Can't do LOBB. Okay.
All right, so I'm not going to read these resolutions. Does anybody want to read these resolutions?
I can do that.
Do you want to just summarize the resolutions for us, please, Maria?
Resolution number 2014-33.
Wait, hold on one second. I'm
We
sorry.
didn't do the ag security resolution.
We're doing it right now.
She's doing
Oh, I'm sorry, she is?
She's going to read
Okay.
through for us.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to go to resolutions. I
No,
have
she's
the-
doing something different.
Don't worry, PJ, she's already fired.
I'm
Which
sorry, I
one are
did
you
not-
doing?
I was
You
doing
need to do
road
the ag
dedication.
security.
No, we got to do ag security.
You're gonna do the
I don't
execution.
have that resolution.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
I
So,
know.
if you like, would everybody like me to read these resolutions?
Wendy, you're fired too.
Brief synopsis, can you go, is someone give a brief synopsis to everybody what this
Pat
is?
knows.
I'm fired. I was fired. I'm good here.
Rehire,
Oh,
come
it's
on.
vacation. Basically, what happens with that, 180 days ago approximately, the board accepted them. But we have to do 180 days, we have to do 180 days, and they're automatically put into the E&T Ag Security area. We've passed 180 days, and now you have to do a resolution, which is in front of you. You don't have to read it, if you like, you can, but it's an automatic, they're in. And we have to send it to the Recorder of Deeds, and it's in a book, and it's all official.
Okay.
And the properties are in the top,
Okay.
parcel numbers.
Does anybody have any questions on this? No, we're good.
And you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Would anyone like to hear it? No, they didn't think so.
All right, by resolution, the following parcels have been added to the E&T Agricultural Security Area. As the required 180 days has passed, this will be filed at the Recorder of Deeds office. So I will make a motion. I will make a motion that we accept the resolutions. Resolution 1, number 32-2014, UPI number 69-4-10, Stephen F. and Sylvia E. Stolzfus, 582 Oxford Road, Lincoln University, PA, 57.7 acres, and UPI number 69-4-10.02, Johan and Susan Shikoslami, 406 Little Elk Creek Road, Lincoln University, PA, 11.5 acres.
Perfect.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Does anybody have any comments on this? We have a motion's been properly made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
When you all sign it, can you pass it down to me so I can notarize? Not there.
I gave you the page, dude.
Yeah.
It's that first one.
Just the one signature, that's it?
They're both on the same resolution?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're down to number 6, Century Oak Road dedication. Winnie, would you like to take it away, please?
So is that one? Yes. Resolution number 2014-33 is a resolution to accept a deed of dedication from Rouse Chamberlain for Century Oak Drive. That is also in connection with the maintenance agreement. We have their financial security in the amount of $216,595 for this maintenance guarantee. The deeds are properly executed. And so I would just like a motion to adopt this resolution, which accepts it. The maintenance guarantee is for 18 months. For the next 18 months, they're responsible for the condition of the road. You're responsible for snow removal, but if the road breaks up, they're responsible for the cost of fixing it. And it further provides, authorizes either officers or me, or the solicitor of the township, to take the necessary steps to record the resolution and the deeds. So I would just need a motion to adopt that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Does anybody have any questions on this or comments?
Yeah, I heard the word, my name is Dan Burrows, I heard the word Century Oak Drive, but there's also Buttonwood and...
We have 2 more resolutions.
Okay, I'll sit down.
No problem. Anybody else? Okay. Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
So we can have a sheet.
The next is resolution number 2014-34, which is a resolution to accept the deed of dedication from Rouse Chamberlain for Buttonwood Lane. All of the documents are properly in place. The resolution is identical to the last one, with the exception of the street name. So I would ask for, if you would, Mr. Chairman, ask for a motion to adopt resolution 2014-33.
I'll make the motion that we adopt resolution number 2014-34.
Second. Any comments on this motion? On this resolution? Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
And resolution 2014-35 is again an acceptance, a resolution to accept the deed of dedication from Rouse Chamberlain for Boxwood Court. Again, it's an 18-month maintenance bond, which is in place. The $216,595 is a single maintenance bond for all 3 roads. And the resolutions reflect that. Again, I'm authorized to get things recorded. So just, Mr. Chairman, ask if someone would make a motion to adopt that resolution.
I will make the motion.
Second.
Any comments on this resolution? Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
And then also just a motion to approve the enter into the maintenance agreement, which is in connection with the $216,000 maintenance guarantee, and to authorize the chairman to sign the agreement.
The financial security.
That's different. No, this is just a motion authorizing the entering into this agreement, the maintenance agreement.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we enter into the maintenance agreement.
I'll second.
Any comments?
When is the actual dedication? Is the dedication, does that follow the acceptance of the maintenance agreement, or is it one and the same?
They've already adopted the resolutions accepting those.
Okay.
Right.
That's first.
You blinked, you missed it.
It's all
We were there, we just wanted to make sure that there was not
It's all a
time
part of
interval.
one, it just happens to happen in multiple steps.
in that order.
There'll be a parade tomorrow down Leavenworth.
I didn't think it was going to occur.
Any other comments on that? Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I'd just like to note that I have from the developer a $20,000 escrow deposit for the agreement that the township entered into with Rouse Chamberlain earlier this year for each building permit that occurs after these roads have been put in, because there's going to be construction vehicles going over them. So this additional $20,000 is for damage caused during that construction, or as escrow.
Potential damage.
Potential damage, which I would give to the treasurer. All of which I think you can sign after the meeting. You've approved it. So.
Okay. And we have the Century Oak Improvement Guarantee release.
Yes. Rouse Chamberlain requested a release of financial security for the actual construction. They did that last week, and while the township engineer at the end of the day today actually did get his comments out, I think it doesn't make sense did not make sense to try to get that in place by tonight's meeting. So the motion in front of you at the bottom of the page is to approve that release subject to the engineer and my approval of it, so we don't have to wait for another month. And that's the content of that motion.
I'll make the motion that after review by the township engineer and solicitor and their approval, that the request for the release of financial security by Rouse Chamberlain for the Century Oak Improvement Guarantee be granted to the extent and as recommended by the engineer and solicitor. The notification is authorized after both engineer and solicitor have put their recommendations in writing to the board.
I'll second. Are there any comments on this motion? Motion has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we have Fulton Road, removal of the barrier.
There's barrier that's been constructed across the Orchard Road side of Fulton Road. The individual that the township roadmaster, I believe, placed the barrier there, has been given notice to remove it. It's still there as of today, I think. And so there's a motion in front of you to authorize removal of that barrier in conjunction with the township engineer's advice to the roadmaster and the surveyor to place to mark it. So we're clear that we're accurate.
Can we invoice the individual who constructed the barrier?
Well, we can certainly attempt to. We can do the invoice and see about getting paid, I guess. But yes, certainly it's a township cost that's occurring because he just put the barrier up. Yes.
I move that we authorize the roadmaster and crew with the advice of the township engineer as necessary to remove the barrier placed on Fulton Road at its intersection with Oxford Road, State Route 3018, after having the surveyor mark the roadbed as indicated on the plan and resolution.
Well, second.
Anybody have any comments on this motion?
Will there be an evaluation of the road surface before the barrier is removed?
There will not be an evaluation of the road surface before it's removed. That's why the engineer will be there to evaluate it afterwards.
So once the barrier is removed, will people start to use that road
People will be free to use it
in the condition that it is?
if they choose to.
And there's no desire or interest on the township's part to review the quality of the road surface at this point?
We didn't say anything about that. The township will have every interest
So,
that it needs to have to make sure that road is drivable and passable.
well, I guess is what I'm asking is the barrier going to be removed and then the road fixed, or will the road be fixed and then the barrier
Well,
removed?
should we fix it over the barrier? Or should we go around the barrier when we fix the road? The barrier has to be removed for the road to be fixed.
I don't, the area that needs work is not affected by the barrier.
Well, the barrier will be removed, and then the road will be tended to. Motion has been made and properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right, we're going to just pass over number 9 for a moment here and move on with, we have a couple of additions to the agenda here. We have number 10, advertising open space tax. So, we'll take that to the end of the meeting. Yeah, we'll hit number 9. Keep it in order. All right, number 9, bills for approval. I took a look at the bills. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at anything? Any questions for Susie? Are there any questions from anybody in the audience for Susie on the bills?
Pat, can we put the 2015 library donation on next month's agenda?
All right, seeing none here, I move we pay the bills.
Second. John, you're not saying to not pay it this year?
No, I'm talking about next year's.
For the next year's.
Next year's.
It's already moved in second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we have advertising the open space tax. So I would like to, after discussion a little bit in the work session, I would like to make a motion that we have Winnie work on what we need resolution-wise to bring the open space tax down to 0 for the year 2015. That would mean that you'd still have your 1% earned income tax, but 0 open space tax that would be due for the year 2015. Would anybody like to discuss this?
It just needs, it has to be done by ordinance.
That's a resolution?
Yeah.
That probably is, okay. So I'll make a new motion, but is there any discussion on the table before we make a new motion here?
My only comment is that the decision has to be made in our November meeting because I have to do all I have to do by December 1st.
So I think
Okay.
Any discussion? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we have Winnie work on our ordinance to bring the open space, which is now at 0.125, to 0% for the tax year 2015. Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, you said that. That's why I didn't hear any nays.
I just whispered.
Next is Barron Road. We have a weight limit issue on Barron Road. Bill, do you have a minute just to explain that again one more time real quick? Like in 3 minutes?
Elk Township has got a hold of me, and there's big trucks and tractor trailers coming up from Elton, and actually going from Oxford also, south on Blue Ball Road, and the road's just not built and wide enough for the tractor trailer traffic. And they would like to put a weight limit on their end, which we would have to do the same thing also, because,
So Elk is asking us to pay half the expense, basically.
Yeah, the split the expense, and originally they had a price of around $55,000 to $6,000, but if they got into it, there's going to be some engineering fees and some core samples done of the road, I guess, to justify this.
So they're looking at 11 to 12 is what they're estimating.
Total, yes, so they didn't know if we would be willing to raise
Do
that.
you know if Elk is already approved their end?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the core samples are on their road, right?
Well, they would probably do both ends, I would assume. We would be closing ours also, so I'm sure they would have to do both just to verify that the road is not up to snuff for the heavy trucks.
All right, I'm gonna put a motion on the table, but I'm gonna put a motion on the table for a little bit more so we don't run into this issue again. Just to put a cap on it, just in case our costs go a little bit above $5,000 to $6,000. So I'm gonna make a motion that we put a cap cost on the Barron Road weight limit project that we are splitting with Elk Creek at our end. I'm sorry, with Elk Township. At our end, that's $7,500.
I won't tell them.
I'll second. Any comments on this? Yes, sir.
Before
Your name,
you
I'm
go
sorry.
through, Robert Storkley. Before you go through all the expense, do you think it'd be easier just to make no trucks going through there, rather than going through all that? The expense of the engineering fees and all that, just put a sign up, no trucks allowed except for local deliveries.
I think you would probably need some kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but you'd probably need some kind of permit to do that anyways.
I would think so, wouldn't you, Winnie?
Yeah, I forget the specifics, but I
Yeah.
don't think that requires engineering, so you have to have a reason to do it. And that road ends on road, it's not what might be called a local road, really it is kind of, I don't know that it works or not. Nice
The reason
suggestion.
I'm saying that is because if you put a weight restriction on there, then number one, if a truck comes through there that's overweight, you're going to have to weigh it to prove that it's overweight. The state police cannot do that. So if a truck comes through there that's 10-ton overweight, he's going to get away with it because he can't weigh him. So what's the use of even having that? If you just ban them all together.
It's the same idea of having a speed limit. Do you do 55 on Route 1 or do you push it
But
to
that's
60?
easier to for state police
But
to.
it's the same idea. If the state police pull them over, they'll drag them out to Avondale and weigh them.
They also have mobile scales.
Yeah, but, okay.
I mean, we have to do our part to protect it.
I understand that.
What's
but
gonna,
I
whether
just-
there's someone there to uphold it or people are gonna follow it is a different story.
I do have one question. Bill, didn't you say
They'll take it to the church.
the total cost is now how much?
Somewhere around $11,000.
And we're offering,
We're not
Well, we're not, I'm not
Half
gonna
of
tell that, we're offering to split the cost.
what's half of 50?
Not to exceed
Right.
$7,500.
Right, so if it goes over 15,000.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
how are they gonna take it?
No, we're not telling them. We're just gonna split it up to 12,000. If it comes back and we say to
Well, we should
Bill,
put it in there. We're split it,
I just put it in there.
but you said cap cost is 7,500.
Yeah, we're gonna cap it at 75. We're gonna split it without. That was part of the motion.
We're split the cost, but we've got no higher than 7,500.
Right. This way, if it comes back and it's 13,000, we don't have to sit here and go through it again.
It should be 6,000 or under.
But just in case. All right, well, there was a motion made and seconded. Motion's been properly moved and seconded. We do get a second, correct?
Yes, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there are minutes for approval. On the table, I know there's some people grabbing copies for last month. I do need to just take a peek at them. I've got a glance at them and look at the whole thing. Sorry. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 1st, 2012, make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 12th, 2014 from our regular meeting. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We just have some correspondence here. If anybody would like to take a look through, Chester Water Authority, State Police reports, environmental protection, news bulletins from PSATs, Oxford Sewer Authority about their minutes and their meetings. If anybody would like to take a look through correspondence, please do. It's here in the office. Pat has it all week. Recognition of visitors. Would anybody like to be recognized at this time? Yes, sir.
John Sykes. I guess the first question I've got is, I've purchased the Coates property, as everyone knows, and I'm trying to make something that the township and all the landowners around would be proud of. Clean it up, I'm sure you've seen that it's been getting a lot better. In doing that, I need some help and support from the township. I've reached out to all 5 supervisors. 3 of them have ignored my numerous calls. 1 of them has made an appointment with me and stood me up after changing my Sunday plans. And 1 supervisor, John, did meet me, and it sounded like we were going in the right direction, but that was all shut down. My attorney has tried to put meetings together. I would just like to know, how can I proceed? How can I get the ear of the township to work with me on cleaning up a 50, 70-year-old mess and turning it into a property that's worthwhile to have in the township?
If I may answer that, first, I have received no request from your attorney to set up a meeting, so that's one thing. And secondly,
Winnie,
I think
he
all
asked
this,
you on the
you
phone.
don't know me well enough to call me
Okay, Ms. Sebastian.
Mr. Seitz.
John Jarris asked you on the telephone if you would set up a meeting, and you said that would not be helpful. Are you going to deny that?
Yes. Okay. Mr. Seitz, a meeting is only available for things that can be discussed by agreement. You have to comply with the township ordinance. This board has no ability to negotiate their ordinances. So far, you have not done that. That's all we're asking you to do. We ask you to submit a stormwater plan. You haven't done that. While you say that your permits were rejected, in fact, we've asked you to submit them properly. You haven't done that. We have asked you to take down the barrier. You haven't done that. You have moved dirt. You have created additional impervious surface. You have not submitted a plan for the stormwater maintenance ordinance that is required to do that. And you are working on the place without, you are doing what you're doing, but the township doesn't know what you're doing because you have not submitted any plans or applications to us.
We did submit plans and they were rejected.
Plans?
Yes.
What kind of plans?
The permit had drawings with it, showing what repairs we were going to do. There was no impervious surface added to the property. I don't know where you're getting that information from.
Very well. Then why don't you submit a plan that says the condition of that property as to ground cover, sod, and otherwise is unchanged, and that you have not, in fact, replaced it with reusable tarmac.
I have not.
You have not put any tarmac down?
No.
I see. And you haven't graded anything?
Oh, we graded around the buildings because there was a water problem.
Okay, well, why don't you put all that together then? Just say this is exactly what was on the property and nothing has changed. And submit that. Really, all we want you to do is submit the applications and the plans that our ordinances require.
Okay. Secondly, the township has reported twice to the Department of Environmental Protection. Once that we were burning tires to melt asphalt, and secondly, reported my goats to the township. I'd like to understand why why reports have been going to the Department of Environmental Protection for the activities that I've done on the property.
Are you burning tires?
No.
We had pictures of tires being
One tire was inadvertently started, but the fact that you have a picture means it was put out before it finished burning. Not tires. There was one tire that was mistakenly burned.
But you acknowledge that one was burning, so I think that's a reasonable response to your question as to why. So you're burning tires. As to the goats...
We weren't burning tires to melt asphalt.
I never said that. But you were burning a tire.
A tire got burned by mistake, yes.
And then the question as to the goats.
Yes.
No one from the township, I didn't report anything to DEP about the goods. I wouldn't go to DEP about the goods. I haven't done anything about the goods.
Okay.
Are they there to clean or are you raising them?
They're my daughter's pets and they're eating the poison ivy that's around the property.
How many do you have?
There's 3 right now. Okay, so no one from the township has contacted the DEP about the goats?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other visitors like to be recognized tonight? Yes, sir, Mr. Carey. Please state your name.
Bill Fisher,
Where you live at?
Wyndham Creek, 41 Granite Drive. I questioned a couple, I guess at the last meeting, there was supposed to be a deadline imposed by the DEP for an update to the Act 537 plan, and I asked at the last meeting, was that deadline going to be met and what was coming out of that, and I was told that that was not happening. And then in the bill, it says Act 537. So is that being worked on, or?
Yeah, it is, I think.
Okay. And I guess the other question that we kind of have as a community is there a deadline? Because I mean, it seems like it was March and then it was kicked down to September, and it seemed like Mark Daimler was actively working to try and come up with a formidable plan, and then we kind of haven't heard anything other than these deadlines once that plan was rejected by the DEP.
As I understand, I really wasn't involved in all that, but I believe that there was originally no deadline, and then when the fact that there was no deadline was questioned, they set one for September 2nd, I think.
And then that wasn't, I was told it wasn't going to be met, and it wasn't really being worked on, and now the taxpayers are getting bills for it. So I'm just curious as to...
There is work being done on it.
Okay.
All right, and in terms of the deadline, I believe there was sort of an understanding it was kind of a soft deadline.
That was my impression too.
And so I believe, yes, it is.
And URS is the one that's working on that, the bigger engineering firm?
No. I mean, they have done some work on it, yes.
Okay.
Or you need to sign those.
And then the other question I have is, I know grass cutting, PJ, that was my fault for not, PJ can't be everywhere in 30 million places. So coming into snowfall this year.
I have a note to contact Mr. Hostetter to get a letter from him as to who's going to...
We as a community are very eager to push off dedication of our community roads to the township too. And we're kind of curious as to what steps we would have to take as Century Oak did to have our roads dedicated and maintained by the township, but we all pay taxes too.
Unfortunately, the problem with the roads in your development...
They're beautiful, they're all...
is that
done.
Once the township takes them, they're ours, and so what Century 21 did was give us a maintenance guarantee for 18 months. That's all the law allows us to have in terms of length, is 18 months.
We're going to be at trial by February, so come February 2016, so we'd fall within that.
Yeah, but we don't know that.
Within that 18 months.
And then there are the risk of those roads having to be torn up because nobody knows what's going to happen. So I think that's the...
But I mean, there's really the problem. I mean, all we're seeing is the township spend money when there's really, nobody's kind of saying there's a problem, so.
It's just not, it just isn't, it doesn't make sense to take them for dedication. I'm sure it doesn't, but from the township's perspective, it doesn't make sense at this time.
So will there be an automatic, what are we going to do for snow removal? And I know everyone's sick of hearing about this, but I kind of sat back this year on purpose with grass removal, and nothing really happened. They weren't coming out automatically for grass cutting.
They did just cut them.
It just did after it hasn't been done for 8 weeks.
Well, they had a big changeover in personnel.
I really don't care.
Well, I know, but if I'm sending it to people and I don't know that they've left, let me finish, and I don't know that they've left, and they don't tell me that they've left, then I'm kind of behind the 8 ball. I finally did find out who it was. I did send them. I'll make sure that they do it.
So for snow removal, I mean, because we have people that are essential medical personnel in our community too.
Well, I did say that I would get a letter from Mr. Hostetter, and Pat's been, she's been on top of him.
But instead of me having to constantly call and multiple other people having to call me and like, why should we have to do all that, or can they just this year somehow, is there enforcement action that can be done? Is there money in escrow so that when it snows that the township just can come in, and so I don't have to call Pat and go through all that? And I mean, it's kind of like the grass stuff this year that I purposely left it go and didn't come in and do anything, and it took 8 weeks.
I took over the snow issue.
I know.
And I called him before the snow came. And I said, I'm going to speak to you first thing in the morning to make sure On your list is Wyndham Creek.
But I did
Every
have
morning-
to, there was a lot of
In the
exchange back and
beginning,
forth
but
this
then
year.
after that, we got into a great system and it worked.
So that'll happen again this year?
Through me, yes. If you go through me, yes. I can't, PJ, she has different work to do. I will take care of it if you wish me to.
But there's, so that, you know, I mean, we won't run into this again this year?
You should not.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I'll do everything I can.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to be recognized?
Inches of snow, we'll push it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi, my name's Ed Reese. I just wanted to know, do I come to this meeting to ask for the board to request a traffic study? Am I in the right place?
What road is it for?
For Oxford Road and Duck Farm.
Okay, Oxford Road is a state road.
Correct.
We can't do a traffic study on the state road.
Well, I did a phone call to PennDOT and they told me to come here. Or I talked to PJ, I think.
Okay.
I think. This was a way back because I'm really busy and I happened to notice you had a meeting tonight, so I just ran over here.
No problem.
So to get a traffic study, I thought I had to come here and request you to request it from PennDOT or something to that effect.
And with the state road, doesn't have...
For a stop
It's a
sign.
state road and a township road.
So how do we do that?
I don't know.
Where's the stop sign? From what road to what road?
There's one in place on Duck Farm. Duck Farm comes to a T on Oxford Road. We need stop signs on Oxford Road.
That would happen, that's PennDOT, we don't have.
Yeah.
Can we,
What I would suggest is to contact Representative Lawrence's office, and he can help push buttons a lot faster than we can, because they love to ignore us.
Okay. Do you know where his office is?
I think I do.
He's right across from the hospital up in
Oh, yeah.
up Baltimore Pike there. So.
Yeah, now you mentioned it.
Did I give you the name of the contact at PennDOT to talk to?
You may have, and I think I made the call and they told me to come here. That's where it got thrown back. They said that your board has to request, that's,
They said that the board has to request it.
and I was told to come to the supervisors meeting. I think I actually called your office one day and talked to, who's the secretary?
Pat.
Okay, you may have given me, again, it's all sporadic, it's all happened over the last 6 months. I just, when I think of it, I try to act on it. So here I am, asking you.
Bill, have you run into that before? Is that
Well, we did that down at Meteor Road and 5th Street and Barron at that intersection. I think we did, we did get all one of the state guys and say, is there anything you can do out there? There's a lot of complaints, and they did do a traffic study, but it was all PennDOT. We did.
Yeah, you could request that. If what you are finding is that intersection is a problem and needs a stop sign, then you could request that.
Oh, we can have, Bill, can you put a request in? Do you have a contact up there?
Well, the guy I had contact with is no longer there, so I can call and see if I can get a hold of him. If there's
I
anything
have
we can
several
do.
names, so we'll get together tomorrow and.
Because it might also be a question who has to pay for it.
Well, the state, if it's a state road, the state would pay for it, unfortunately.
That's
Or
right.
I should say fortunately.
That's why I think you have to request it for them to come to your township and do, I guess.
I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
what I don't know.
If you have a bad intersection, then your request, in theory, will be looked at more than the citizens' request.
You would want that to be a
So,
three-way
PJ,
stop
can you
sign.
head that up with Bill and see what you guys can figure out on it?
Didn't we do something like this out on Forge Road? I don't know.
Yes,
About
Forge
a
and
year and a half
Hopewell
ago.
also. Yeah, Forge and Hopewell also.
Yeah.
Something, right?
And then we did one on Fifth Street, no Elk Fifth Street, remember at the stop sign?
I did.
They said no.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it there. They wouldn't do it there. And that's probably worse than the other two.
Sure.
But they were state roads?
Yes.
And who did the traffic study or?
The state did.
Okay.
And we asked if there was anything that could be done. There was multiple accidents. And
Right.
they have to check into it, police reports, and check some back history to see if it, if it's qualifies for it to be a four-way or three-way stop.
Has there been incidents over there?
Yes. That's why I'm here.
It's nasty pulling out of there.
Where?
Out of Duck Farm.
So see what you can, maybe you and Bill can,
Yeah, Bill and
and you can, if you don't have John Lawrence's number, PJ can get you John's number too.
Okay.
We should have the other letters on file that we can use as a template, at least the ones that were successful.
No.
They put the one on Hopewell and Forge. Out of nowhere.
Is Waterway Township Road?
Would you have?
Yes.
Waterway?
Waterway's Township.
Would you have a copy of that letter?
I'd have to go back and look at the minutes, the folders.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to present it.
Just
So I had
send
to-
me your name and number
To who?
to me.
Right now?
Well, at the end of the day.
Okay, yeah.
You just want to
Okay,
shout
then
out
let
your
me
phone
know.
number? Mr. Reese, just give me your phone number, I have your name here.
610
Right?
802
Right?
2103.
Okay, I got it. I'll give it to PJ. We'll take it from there.
I'm sorry?
We'll take it from there.
Okay?
All righty?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other visitors like to be recognized? At this point, I make a motion to adjourn. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun again.
Yep.
Let's skip over Pat. Wait.
She's fired anyway.
That too. In terms of Mr. Seitz, I never agree to meetings between boards of supervisors and private people because that violates the Sunshine Act. I might have said that to Mr. Jowis, I don't know, but I just want to clarify, you can't do that, that violates the Sunshine.
PJ?
There
Okay,
has
thanks.
been a plan set out for Mr. Seitz for what he needs to do. I thought it was very clear. He follows that plan, comes in with the proper information for the permits, we'll work through the process. There is a process to do what you want to do. You have to follow that process.
Susie?
I don't have anything.
Go ahead, Pat.
I forgot.
already.
Okay. I just want to make the board aware before your next meeting, for your budget meeting. It's very important to do. We've been having a lot of problems with the air conditioner, a lot, like weekly, I'm calling. And they told us it's not going to last much longer. We're talking 10 to 12,000. There's 2 units up there, I believe. 2 units, Bill?
There's 2 units.
Yeah, 10 to 12 each unit. So when you're doing your budget meeting, you just remember that. They're going to be going real soon. Weekly, we put $200, $300. I mean, it's been constant. So 900 was like 6 months ago.
Could she ask them for one, just so we know?
No, I have some ideas.
Okay, well, they told me 10 to 12,000.
Okay.
So, okay. You know, we don't have to go with them either. That was just the rough
We
estimate.
can talk about some stuff. There are some, yeah, I've seen those commercials with those industrial ones, and we actually use them at work, and they actually work pretty good.
Okay.
You seen those ones that hang on a wall?
Mm-hmm.
They actually-
It's ugly.
No, they're not ugly. They actually work really, really well. They're not ugly.
It's just like, well, anyway.
It's not like the wall unit you had when you grew up.
I had the upper
They're a lot less
cabin,
expensive
okay?
than putting in a central unit. So we'll look into it.
Just remember that, okay?
It's a mini split system.
They're pretty good. We use them to work, actually.
Yeah. In a barn, maybe.
All right, let's get this moving. We talked about it
A
after.
warehouse.
Nothing good. Gene?
Yeah, just briefly, this month, we had a situation with the newsletter and the individual supervisor who was not here. A lot of complaints, wanting to put stuff in. PJ, I think you did a good job trying to mediate, but to try to keep this from happening in the future, I think we need to have a member of the Board of Supervisors as an editor to the newsletter. And since she's already invested in it, I think we should make Jane editor to the newsletter.
Okay, we can talk about it, put it on the agenda for next month. Put that on the agenda next month? I have nothing. Anything else? I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
How much more you have?
I have 6
What's that?
Yeah.